Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men, women, and children of all ages. Welcome to episode 2 of the Star Wars chronology. And in today's episode, we're actually going to get into the reading. And without further ado, without further introduction, we're just going to get right into it. I moved the mic away from my mouth a little bit so I don't deafen you guys. And hopefully you guys enjoy. As always, smash that like button if you do enjoy. And hit that subscribe button for more awesome Star Wars content. Without further ado, here we go. Part 1. Tales of the Ancient Republic. Formation of the Republic. The PreRepublic Era. Circa 100,000 to 25,000 BBY. Before its transformation into the Empire, the Old Republic stood for 25,000 years. Its citizens liked to entertain the illusion that theirs was the only such civilization that had ever existed, but archaeologists have confirmed that this is certainly not true. Few details of the great powers of the PreRepublic era have survived, but what is known about the rise and fall of these societies provides us with the object lesson that no culture lives forever. One of the earliest and most potent cultures can be identified only by the colossal objects it left behind. At some point, that cannot be positively identified. These mysterious architects created the Corellian star system, tracking its 5 planets into place around the star Corel, using the repulsorolift engine center point station. The architects may also have been responsible for the Maw, an unlikely cluster of black holes located near Kessler that are believed to have been frightened and advanced Sharu people of the Rafa system into adopting a forced culture of primitivism. The architects populated the planets of the Corellian system with Drals and Solonians, as well as humans, an ambitious species believed to have originated on the core world of Coruscant. Coruscant's humans may have come into domination on their home world, by defeating a near-human, gray-skinned species known as the Taungs in several series of legendary battles. The humans, who comprised the 13 nations of the battalions of Zell, suffered an almost extinction-level defeat when a sudden volcanic eruption smothered their encampment. The towering plume of black ash loomed over the Taug army for 2 years, and the odd Taungs took the name Warriors of the Shadows, or in the ancient tongue, Da Wera Verda. The battalions of Zell recovered and claimed Coruscant for their own, while Taungs may have become the Mandalorians, judging from what we have learned concerning similarities between the Mandalorian language and surviving Taung texts. Jesus, this is a very hard read. In the Galactic Core, the big-brained column species archived interstellar spaceflight approximately 100,000 years ago and surveyed the primitive people of Coruscant and Duro before returning to a sheltered life on their homeworld of Columbus. In the Outer Rim, the Grease civilization flourished, creating strange marvels of alien technology that had never been duplicated. The Gree reached their apex during the same area as the Columbi, but modern Gree have been reduced to mere caretakers of decaying wonders. In opposition to the Gree Empire, the reptilian Qua constructed infinity gates, which allowed them to teleport between worlds. Unknown factors led to the decline of the Qua, and their descendants eventually became simplified Qui lizards of Dathomir. Approximately 30,000 years BBY, a species known as the Rakata achieved the highest extent of their own expansion. The Rakatan infinite empire stretched between worlds as far removed as Dantooine and Hongar, but numbered few planets in total. Rakatans used the Force to power much of their technology and employed starship engines that allowed them to tunnel through hyperspace and reach other planets with Force-strong signatures. Some of these artifacts, that the Rakata left on the world they visited triggered strange after effects, such as the stimulation of rampant plant and animal growth on Kashyyyk. The Radicans eventually became arrogant in their power. They forced entire populations of conquered worlds into slavery, including the Duros, the humans of Coruscant, and the tri-species mix of the Corellian system. Soon they had built a monument to their glory, the Starforge, a living satellite that could build anything its creator desired using raw stellar material. The Starforge fed off the aggression of its Rakata builders, amplifying the dark side of the vicinity of the Rakata Prime and setting the species up for tragedy. 3 primary factors led to the implosion of the Infinite Empire, which occurred approximately 25,200 BBY. A plague that affected only the Rakata spread to every corner of the kingdom, killing billions. The slaves, suddenly presented with an ideal opportunity, rose up and broke the Rakata hold on the colonies. Finally, an apparent mutation of the plague virus stripped the surviving Rakatans of the ability to use the Force. Rakata Prime fell into civil war, then developed into barbarianism, as its inhabitants forgot how to operate their technology. In orbit overhead, the mighty Starforge sat empty. No longer held under the yoke of the Radicans, progress on Coruscant continued apace. The planet had birthed billions of humans, but so far, its citizens had been unsuccessful in their bid to reach the stars. Limited to a single world, they dried up their planet's resources through generations of overuse. By the time the first sleeper ships, suspended animation vessels that took centuries to reach distant stars, came into use, impenetrable industry had choked every landmass and wreathed the planet in smoke and steam. Aboard sleeper ships, Coruscant colonists spread to neighboring worlds such as Alaskam, Metellus, and Axum. On Alderaan, circa 27,500 BBY, another group of stellars discovered the empty spires of vanished insectoid species, the Kilix, but nevertheless claimed the world for their own. Improvements in hyperspatial theory led to the development of hyperspace cannons. Starships launched into hyperspace by a cannon could then induce a drag element and drop back into real space, but needed a second hyperspace cannon to return to their original point. A cannon network was developed to link the core worlds with the spacefaring Duros civilization. Their experience with the Rakata had one positive effect on the people of the core. Scientists on Corellia and Duro launched independent investigations into the Rakatan hyperdrive. If they could duplicate the technology, the core would no longer consist of stagnant outposts, separated by distance and expense. First, however, the galaxy had to contend with Exim, out in the rim area known as the Turo Cluster. A new power had arisen over the centuries, composed of aliens and cast-offs, and the human descendants of an ancient core world's colony ship. Their hyperdrive fused bits of Rakatan technology with fixed-position hyperspace beacons, allowing for travel within a defined area, but presenting potentially fatal dangers if they ventured outside the Lighthouse network. The Taiwanese, who had not yet discovered the lengths of the Prelemian superhighway hyperlane, remained isolated from the core worlds, but occasionally ran up against the sprawling borders of the young Hutt Empire. Exim, the pirate prince, greatly expanded Taiwan space by raiding planets and enlisting governments to manage the new territory. Exim's father, himself a bloodthirsty raider, had carved out a corner of the Taiwan into the kingdom of Kron during the Kronese sweeps a generation before. Exim soon came to be known as the despot. He plundered uncountable treasures from his father's holdings and housed them in a voluminous facility on Delit. In the 25th year of Exim's rule, the Hutt Empire demolished one of his fleets at Vontar in the Cyclata cluster. 2 more battles followed, but by the point the Hutts had forged the Treaty of Vontar, which bound the Clatunians, Vadrins, and Nikito to them as permanent slaves in the third battle of Vontar, circa 25,100 BBY. The Hutt-allied conscripts vanquished Zim's war droids. Cossack the Hutt declared victory, and Exim died in shame as a prisoner in Cossack's dungeon. The Tyon cluster split into competing states. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. That was quite an epic story to read. I really did enjoy reading it, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it. I tried to read it as dramatically as I could, and tried not to trip up over the really weird spelled words of the Star Wars universe. So until next Saturday, you guys are going to have to wait for the next episode. But I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, smash that like button if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more awesome Star Wars content, and I will see you guys later.